What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. We just got our first big blockbuster trade of the NFL offseason. Sports are canceled right now. We don't have much going on, so we've been waiting for some news, right? We've been waiting for anything as sports fans just to talk about, because with everything that's going on right now, there's no sports to actually watch. So today is a big day. But this is one of the craziest trades I've ever seen. I don't think a single person agrees with it. One of the wildest trades we've ever seen in the NFL. The Texans are trading wide receiver Deandre Hopkins to the Arizona Cardinals for running back David Johnson. Let that sink in. Let me repeat it. Deandre Hopkins, arguably the best receiver in the league. Top 3 receiver without a doubt. Whoever you want to argue is 1, 2, or 3. You can debate that all day, but he's arguably the best. They've traded him for a running back. Mind you, the running back position has been proven more and more every year to be the least valuable position in the NFL. The most replaceable position in the NFL. And it's a running back who is injury prone, does not have a great contract, and hasn't really been that great over the last couple of years, right? He had a really big year a few years ago. He got hurt. Hasn't really quite been the same since. Now, there are some draft picks included, but even with the draft picks included, the trade still doesn't make sense. So, the Texans are getting David Johnson. They're getting a second-round pick this year and a fourth-round pick next year. The Cardinals get Hopkins and a fourth-round pick this year. So, essentially, the Texans come out of this with a second-round pick, which is just ridiculous. There's so many reasons that this is a bad deal. And, I mean, the Texans have kind of proven time and time again their front office makes these bad deals, these bad trades. And when you look at a team that was literally, almost in the Super Bowl this year, they were up 24-0 against the Chiefs. Now, of course, they collapsed in a big way and blew that game, but just the fact that you were up 24-0 in the AFC Championship game, that shows where your team was at. And you go and trade away your best player, your best weapon on the team for a running back who isn't really going to help improve the team that much. You already had, a decent amount, a decent running back group there. But again, you don't need a stud running back. Look at the Chiefs. They just won the Super Bowl. They had LaShawn McCoy, Damian Williams. McCoy didn't even play in the Super Bowl, right? You look at the Patriots when they've won Super Bowls. James White, Sony Michel. Those aren't crazy. You don't think, best running back in the league when you think of those guys. The Saints for years have been a running back by committee type team. You look at all these teams, and the Eagles won the Super Bowl. I think LeGarrette Blount was their running back, right? I mean, you're seeing, you don't see a team that has the best running back in the world typically go all the way. We saw the Titans, ride Derrick Henry very hard this postseason, but the fact that Tannehill was an actual threat at quarterback is what allowed Henry to be better, because teams actually had to respect Ryan Tannehill more than they ever had to respect Marcus Mariota. Having a good running back is fine, right? But it's without a doubt the most replaceable position in football. So when you go trade your best weapon on offense for a running back that doesn't have a good contract and, is injury prone as it is and hasn't been having the greatest of seasons, and then you look at DeAndre Hopkins, a guy that is automatic as it comes every year, that's pretty crazy. Now, another thing here is that you look at what the Texans have done. They got rid of Clowney, and you just look at the team and you say, okay, even with a lot of the bad decisions they've made, they were still very close to the Super Bowl this year. What they really needed to do was, improve that offensive line a little bit more, help out, your young star quarterback in Deshaun Watson. But instead, you trade away his best weapon, right? I mean, you still have some other good weapons there. Fuller, Kenny Stills was, had a good year. David Johnson, without a doubt, is a decent weapon to have because of what he can do in the passing game, but not worth DeAndre Hopkins. So you don't really address the O-line yet. You get rid of his best weapon. You only get back a second-round pick. What do you think that's gonna do to Deshaun Watson when it's time for him to redo his deal? Do you think he's gonna resign? Maybe, but you just gave him a lot of reasons not to. And apparently, from what some of the reporters are saying, Texans players are, understandably not happy at all about hearing this news. They are pretty mad about this. And I mean, it makes a lot of sense. You should be mad. Now, in terms of the Cardinals, man, the Cardinals made out great because they just got, like I said, arguably the best receiver in the league, and they lost a second-round pick. Kyler Murray had a really good rookie season. A lot of people don't realize how good of a rookie season it was, especially during the second half. He kept improving and definitely showed, why he deserved to go number 1 overall. Now you just gave him one of the best weapons in football. And you still already got some other guys there. Kenyon Drake came on really strong in the second half of the year. You've got Christian Kirk, who is a really good weapon. Fitzgerald's still there, obviously older, but I mean, when you look at a guy that's not a top 2 target on the team now, I mean, if that's your 3rd target or 4th target, that's pretty good. Kyler Murray, I think, is in for a really solid second season. I could see him, kind of like Mahomes had a really great second year last year. Lamar Jackson had a really big second year this year. I think you could see something maybe, not the same, but you're going to see Kyler Murray have a really good second season because he was already looking good, and now you just gave him Deandre Hopkins. It's funny, just for kicks, I tried to make this trade happen in Madden because most people know the Madden trade logic is far from good. I tried to make this, I couldn't even make this trade happen with 2 first-round picks added. The Texans still said, no, we're not interested in David Johnson. So that is absolutely crazy. And when you look at the contracts too, DeAndre Hopkins is still under contract for a few more years. He's going to be making $12.5 million this year. David Johnson's going to be making a little bit over $11 million. So they're very close in salary, but they're nowhere near close in terms of production and value. So the Texans basically swapped these guys out, going to pay them the same amount of money, and they're going to lose so much value in production. It's so nonsensical, and technically nothing is official yet because it's not technically free agency yet. Teams can they can negotiate, I believe, but it's not official yet. So, who's to say another team, might not try to step in and see if they can snag DeAndre Hopkins. Just the fact that they're seeing what the asking price was, obviously there's tampering and things like that, but if you think that type of stuff doesn't happen, you're a fool. So who knows, but it'll probably go through. But some other news in free agency, just to kind of wrap up this video, it says that the Bears are in talks with Teddy Bridgewater. It's looking like that is a very possible deal that could be done. So that could be their new starting QB. Eric Armstead just signed a new deal with the 49ers. Cowboys just re-signed Blake Jarwin to a 3-year extension. And there was one other guy that made some news. Oh yeah, the Falcons, they've cut Desmond Trufant, Devontae Freeman, and their tight end Austin Hooper is reportedly going to sign with the Cleveland Browns, which is, the Browns have some weapons. You got Odell, you got Jarvis. The tight end position, David Njoku, never really quite panned out, but now they get Austin Hooper, a guy that's coming off of a really big year. So that's pretty interesting. But that's really the news so far in free agency. Obviously, as more things happen, I'll drop more videos. But let me know what you think about this. I think this is pretty crazy. Just drop your comments below. As always, I will see you guys on the next video.